we talked about Tekashi 6ix9ine before.
Yeah.
And now the 6th co-defendant has taken a guilty plea.
Mm-hmm.
I think there may have been 8 total. So the majority of people around Tekashi, including Tekashi himself, have all pled guilty to this. Now, you called it from the very beginning. You said that Tekashi's going to tell as soon as he got locked up. So I assume none of this surprises you right now.
No.
Do you think that everyone took guilty pleas because they knew Tekashi was going to testify against them?
Yeah, but then like, look, this is why the feds have such a high conviction rate, because people just, they don't really take the shit to trial. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of people don't take those shits to trial because they know that the chances of you winning are really slim. You know what I'm saying? And they know that people are gonna tell, like, you know what I mean? So that's why there's such a high conviction rate, because people don't even take it to trial. Majority of people just cop out.
Well, but that's true in any sort of court environment, right?
It's different in the feds. You know what I mean? You have more people going on trial in state versus feds. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I didn't know that.
I recently went to go to trial to my bro, La Brim, you know what I mean? Free that man. And that court was empty. You know what I'm saying? Like, not his, I'm just talking about the court, period. Not a lot of people going to trial over there. You know what I'm saying? But when you go to the criminal and you go to Supreme and you go to the state, you'll see a lot more trials because a lot more people are winning those trials.
Aha. Okay. Because I remember I interviewed Chris Gotti, who was, Irv Gotti's brother.
Shout out to Chris Gotti. What's up?
Yep. And Murder Inc. actually went and fought their federal case in court and won.
They did. That was big.
So the jury found you not guilty.
Yes.
And, for those that don't know, that means that every jury member had to
yes.
agree on the same conclusion. If one jury member said, I think them guys are guilty, then what's a hung jury, or is just they have to keep deliberating, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And it was,
how long did they deliberate before they found you not guilty?
4 days.
Okay, so
4
how
days.
long was the whole trial?
2 months.
Ooh, wow. 2 months. With, I'm sure, a mountain of evidence against you and this and that.
What's crazy is, sorry, 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Sorry.
Okay.
Everything, the process was a 2-month process. So really the trial, 2 months is the motion hearings, which is before you get to the jury and all that, picking the jury. Or it was a 2-month time.
Yeah.
Once we started with the jury there in front of the judge, bringing up witnesses, not us, the prosecuting team, it was about a 2-week time.
And it was, no one expected this to happen.
Yeah.
And they were actually offered, we talked about this in our interview, they offered no jail time. So you guys got offered a year versus blowing trial.
That was their first offer.
Oh, their first offer was a year.
First, because so when you look back, like I said, I just have to believe they understood that the case wasn't there. Why would you offer that unless but at the end of the day, ignorance was sitting there. We was very ignorant, me and my brother, and we're sitting there like,
we didn't do it.
I didn't do anything. I'm not taking no time for something I didn't do. But really what they wanted was a story. And they wanted a story on Supreme. That's it. If we gave a story, we did anything. They went down to as low as no jail time, just a conviction.
A conviction with no jail time? I never even heard of this.
Yeah, they was going to give us probation.
Oh, probation. Okay, yeah, I've heard of this.
And give us probation. But we had to tell on Supreme about, and we like, what are we telling? And they swore that we have some stories to tell. And I'm like, there's no stories to tell. And when that last offer came in, I told Shargel, just tell him let's go to trial and let's see where it goes. Shargel, my lawyer, was like, Chris, you understand this? Before we do that, he said, I can't guarantee you're going to be found innocent. I said, he's like, I understand. But he's like, He said this deal's like unheard of.
They actually took it to court,
That's
and
gangster.
the jury found them not guilty.
That's gangster.
And I guess this never happens.
Nah, it doesn't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so that was a huge deal. So with the Tekashi situation, well, here's a question, because me and my son were talking about this. And I don't know whether this is true or not. Maybe you can give your 2 cents on this. He said that Tekashi was given this plea deal to testify against everyone else in exchange for them dropping all the charges. But if everyone pleads guilty without him actually having to take the stand, then they may just give him a bigger sentence because he technically didn't do anything. Does that make sense or no?
Nah, I mean, I don't think so because that's why everybody, is copping out, because they know they have an informant that will fucking take the stand and will, increase the chance of them losing the trial. So he did do what they wanted him to do. You know what I'm saying? He already gave them all the information. He doesn't have to go to trial to get what he was promised because they used that to scare everybody else to plead not guilty.
Plead guilty, you mean?
I mean, to plead guilty, my bad. To plead guilty. So he did his job. You know what I'm saying? He did his job.
And I guess in Fed time, that's what, 85%?
I'm not sure.
You have to serve 85% of your actual time?
I'm not sure about that. I don't know about the Fed. I never did any Fed time.
Never did the Feds. Yeah, man. I mean, it's interesting because I just interviewed, Michael Franzese from the Colombo crime family, and he was telling me about how he was dealing with Al Sharpton in, I guess, the 80s, and Al Sharpton at one point, I guess, got caught in a drug deal by the Feds.
What?
Yeah, and he actually wore a wire and got a bunch of mafia guys busted.
Get out of here.
Al Sharpton at the time, he was a gun for hire. We needed him to do some things with his own people, which he called them at the time. We hired him to do it. We used to pay him. He was valuable in the music business because the Norby Walters, the guy I had at that time that was booking all these acts, we'd send Al out to meet with the act that he wanted to book, and Al would bring him to us for a price. That's how we used him. So I know Al very well.
Okay. And what happened with Don King?
Well, they had an undercover operation on me for about 8 or 9 months. But I was very leery of these guys. I was very careful how I worked with them. And I eventually brought them to Don King. But in the first meeting that I had with King, I said, look, I can only trace these guys back maybe a year. I said, so in this first meeting we have, don't say anything illegal. Play it straight. So everything across the board. They want to invest money. They'll invest it with you. We'll get into the fight game, but don't talk about anything you shouldn't be talking about. So we had the meeting, and he did it exactly like that. What happened was, and it was a big case, we called it shadow boxing. That was Sports Illustrated wrote it up. It was a whole big thing. What happened was they tried to continue. They were trying to get the money to give to Don. It was going to be a lot of money at the time. And they had, I believe, 81 tape recordings of me. They turned it over to the U.S. attorney at the time, and none of those tape recordings worked to have me indicted. I didn't say anything on them that would hurt myself. So they eventually had to close it down, and it went nowhere. But the only one that got in trouble over that was Al Sharpton, because he tried to do a drug deal with the agents. And then he became an informant after that, 100%, no matter what he says. He was an informant. He tried to do a drug deal. They got him on tape doing the deal, the whole bit.
Al Sharpton, you dirty rat. That's crazy.
And if you actually go online, there's a press conference where he actually admits to it.
What? Damn.
But he's like, I don't call myself a rat. I'm a cat who caught rats. And he twisted the whole thing up and tried to...
Oh.
And he said that he did it because he was threatened and whatever else.
That's
but yeah,
crazy.
I think he was wearing a wire against the Italian mafia.
Al Sharpton, the cat rat. Oh man!
But Al Sharpton is still a figure. Still a respected figure. I think Obama met with him and whatever else. So, y'all call VladTV the feds, but here goes Al Sharpton, who actually wore a wire. For real, in real life.
That's crazy. I never heard of that. Have you heard of that before he said that?
I didn't, but I went back and looked, and it was absolutely true. Like I said,
Wow.
there's a video of Al Sharpton actually admitting to it, addressing it. Real shit. Real shit. Have you ever had anyone around you wear a wire and have it be used against someone else or anything of that sort?
Nah, definitely. I know. Yeah.
Really?
There was definitely
Again,
people around us with wires on and shit that came out, and they was wearing wires.
so was that ever used against you?
No.
Okay, so it was used against someone in your crew.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I didn't go down with that Fed shit because I wasn't there long enough. You know what I mean? But after I got arrested, I was always in and out of jail, but like always doing like state time. So when the feds came to do, in our gang, they didn't even have enough of me. Like they didn't have anything from me because whatever I did was already caught with the state. You know what I'm saying? So I never had that. They never came for me.